Hello everyone, welcome to Chungus Guide to White Fox. Now, I see a lot of you little Timmies in Ranked play this White Fox character inoptimally and like a traditional support, and I just want to share my perspective as to why. But first, we have to start with the balls. What I mean by the balls is that White Fox is a unique character in that you gotta play her completely differently from all the other supports. And I mean that literally and figuratively as well. White Fox's primary fire is basically a combination of Cloak and Dagger's primary fire with Invisible Woman's range. Cloak does 16 direct and 16 AoE at a 2.27 second fire rate, which is about like 73 healing per second, or 84 with the team up bonus. White Fox, on the other hand, does 50 direct every 0.45 seconds, which comes out to be around 110 healing per second, or 121 with her team up. And that's not including the bounces that she gets from her orbs. If you include the bounces as well, that's 35 per second. Basically, with White Fox, you're getting a much higher upfront single target healing and damage, but comes with the skill check of actually having to hit your direct shots. And spacing wise, you are going to have to play a bit closer because White Fox and Invisible Woman have a hard cap of exactly 35 meters. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't be bouncing your projectiles. In fact, you should be bouncing your projectiles to heal teammates or to damage enemies around corners, especially since White Fox's primary fire does a lot of damage. It does 40 per direct hit and 25 per bounce. So this intensifies her value versus Cloak a lot more because, unlike Cloak, White Fox can actually deal with Moon Knight Onk, along with the added value of being able to check those cheeky flanker players hiding around corners when you otherwise wouldn't. Because they are out of healing, you can just harass them with your left click. White Fox's second ability, or Spectral Surge, or the right click in PC terms, is a very nice ability, and I would call it White Fox's bread and butter. It has a projectile speed of 60 meters per second, it has a large radius, and it also charms and invulnerables people at the center of the radius. It heals yourself for 50 on cast, and then heals 65 and damages 65 per ally or enemy. If they do get charmed, or they do get invincibility, it's for 0.4 seconds. But what's the best is that it's only a 6-second cooldown. That means that this is the ability that you should be spamming very often to swing teamfights in your favor, because this not only charms but also makes your allies invulnerable. Bear in mind that CC and invulnerability are some of the most sought after traits in hero shooters ever, and White Fox just has both on a single ability that does AoE and is spammable on a 6-second cooldown. Oh, but you might be wondering,
oh, it's not that spammable. She has a resource meter that she needs to charge up.
Oh, hell no, bro. You don't even need to pay attention to this resource meter. What does this resource meter even give White Fox? It gives her 2 extra seconds to her form at most on her other ability. At most, as White Fox, you just gotta save 1 to change into your form when you need to use it. But then when you need to use this form, you're not using it for the whole 9 seconds, you're using it for at most 6 to 7 seconds. And that's even pushing the duration that you're using it for. In other words, you should just spam this ability. Please just spam this ability. Find the line where you can hit the most amount of allies and enemies as possible, and then just use it. But anyways, here are some other use cases for the right click. You can use it to peel alts like Strange Alt, Thing Alt, Scarlet Witch Alt, stuff like that. You can use this to easily cancel it. And also, please use this to peel your supports. I know it doesn't seem like it does much, but it actually does a fuck ton. It heals you, it heals your support that you're aiming at, it also damages, so that's still like a 200 HP trade on a dive. This ability has a funny interaction with Magal, where he zucks it in and he still takes the damage. When you spam your right click, sometimes you could just charm them out of their support alt. I can say for a fact that as a flex player myself, I absolutely hate it when I'm in the middle of a team fight and just get randomly charmed by their fucking White Fox, and then they get a burst of healing, I get charmed, they get invulnerability, I can't punish them, it's cringe. So please just keep doing that because that's probably what it's for.
White Fox here. The hunt begins.
White Fox's Fox form is very misunderstood. Many people view it as her main healing output, and you need to be brawling within the enemy team in order to get the maximum value. No, man, this form is a burst form. This is your mobility, self-heal, and burst damage for your character. And it is not meant to brawl with other tanks and DPS, because you will lose half of the time. The only time that you can really brawl and out-sustain is in 1v1s or against other supports. The reason why you don't really want to stay in this form for long is because you lose a lot of your targeted burst healing and utility from your main form. So going into Fox form a lot of the time is actually trolling unless you're doing it for the specific abilities inside Fox form itself, or the burst damage potential inside Fox form. Speaking of burst damage potential, White Fox actually has quite a few burst damage combos of her own, but her optimal one does a whole 275 damage while her less optimal one does around 200. That's still a huge amount of damage for a support to be dishing out, and you can easily turn fights with this and get picks. Okay, here's the full combo. You got a ball, quick melee, instantly go into Fox form, then you will hold left click, shift, and then immediately right click and then shift back towards where you were, all whilst using claw strike so you get your normal attack cancels off with your ability. Here's what the combo would look like in real time. You can remove the quick melee from the combo if they're out of range, but you'll still get around 200 damage. Here are some examples on how to use this Fox form creatively, both offensively and defensively. You can use the same combo to kidnap an enemy Chungus tank or DPS into your team. You can use the dash to set up a all-in ultimate onto their supports. The fight was lost here, but I still tried to make a play with my melee form and take out their supports. If White Fox's Spectral Surge was her bread and butter, then this would be the jelly that holds the whole sandwich together. This TP shield is so good. It's so good. I cannot reiterate how good this ability is. This ability has iframes on startup whenever you get Dover or whenever you use it, and also drops a shield in which heals allies within the shield. The shield itself is only 200 HP, but the utility it provides is endless, because remember that shields can block many things in this game, including ultimates and line of sight abilities. Yes, this shield can block Meg ult, Wanda ult, Strange ult, all those things, and hell, it can even block Widow ult. But the main thing is, this is only on a 12-second cooldown. This insane support tool is only on a 12-second cooldown, which means that you can cycle this with a lot of your other tools and mobility options. So you have this in addition to your grab and your dash in your melee form. And this makes it so you can cycle in and out very optimally with a minimal cooldown time. And within that cooldown time, you're not weak either, because you do have Spectral Surge. So because this is a 12-second cooldown, you can actually go into a melee form, go for a kidnap, and then come back right after using your shift, even if you mess up play that you will make with your melee form. And granted, during the downtime, it's not like you're useless. You have your Spectral Surge, and you have all your abilities in your main form. This ability is so flexible that if you have your melee form cooldowns, then you can actually use this ability during dives, poke, or like any comp. This ability is just limited by the creativity of your own mind. Hey, you. Yes, you, little Timmy. If you're watching this video and you're enjoying it so far, please make sure to subscribe and like the video, or comment down below for what you want to see next, or whatever. Subscribe! There's currently a huge misconception with White Fox's ult. people are treating it like a traditional support ult, along the lines of Invis, Cloak, and Luna, but White Fox's ult does not have the lasting potential of those ults. However, White Fox's ult offers something different. A straight up more aggressive approach to support ults like they did with Ultron. Marvel Rivals has given the support player the opportunity to use this ult aggressively and make plays. Otherwise, you can use this just like any other god-gifted Hulk player and use it to get out of jail free. Now, White Fox's ultimate might not heal for much compared to all the other support ults, but it is a transformation ult. So similar to Hela ult, you could use this for when you're in trouble or when you're out of position to save yourself as kind of like a all-in play to swing the team fight in your favor. This also means that when you die in the ult, you do not die as White Fox and you just revert back to your main form. What's even better is that this ult functions as an iframe, so you can use this to dodge certain abilities and damage from characters. In this clip, I used it to dodge Thing ult while also using it to turn the teamfight to our favor, which in turn led us to winning this game because of the swing. Now, this doesn't mean that you're invulnerable. Against high DPS ults, you should really not be using your ult at all and saving it for the fight after. If you're forced to use it, say it's last fight or something, then you need to focus on living during your ult, because if your ult dies, you actually lose most of the value out of your ult, believe it or not. But against characters like Phoenix, unlike Hela ult, your ult doesn't die from the Phoenix bird. So that means that you can actually use this to tank those low damage bursty ults. If you're going to learn one thing from this video, it's that you should use your ult more proactively instead of being reactive with your ult. Your ult is an aggressive tool that is used to push advantages or small weaknesses in the opponent's armor. Also, I know it's hectic when you're in your ult and you're kind of mashing all your buttons, but you should try and target the ult's secondary ability onto targets that are currently under pressure, giving them unstoppable and more ways to escape CC and pressure. Now, the game plan for White Fox is very simple. You want to make plays and you want to make sure the fights are fast and clean. What that means is that, or what that can look like, is that you are with your flank DPS sometimes. You are with your flank DPS, so it's a 2 versus 1 instead of a 1 versus 1. Either that, or you're playing like Wolverine and that you're fishing for those kidnaps onto the enemy tank's DPS or supports so that they're out of position so that it's a 6v5. Remember, your burst does 275 damage. That's enough to one-shot many heroes in this game. What you could also do as a White Fox is you could also be a right-click bot, especially if everyone's in a line. If they're all in a line, you're getting maximum value out of the damage, healing, and utility that your Spectral Surge gives you. What's even better is that if they step out of that line or they overextend towards an ally, you can also use the same ability to punish them. You can use your TP shield to both save allies and use it for poking, or you can use it to heal someone that you can't look at the moment because there are other vulnerable allies in trouble. But the most important thing is to save one cooldown to get out every time, whether that means your TP shield or your dash. Either way, you must have one cooldown to get out whenever you're in trouble, unless you're all-inning with your ultimate. Thank you, have a great day, skadoosh.